everybody, and welcome to another video. And thank you for joining me on my live session today. If you are joining me today, I'm only gonna be another 20-30 minutes live. Today I've got this mini Countryman, and I'm doing some basic checks. So we're gonna be just checking the coolant level, percentage of antifreeze, topping up some screen wash fluid, and also we're gonna have a look at the oil level, and perhaps if there is enough time, check where you can have a look at the tire pressures and how much tire you can put in your tires. Sorry, how much air you can put in your tires, not how many tires you can fit in a tire. And regarding the oil level in this Countryman, this particular one was serviced a couple of months ago in June. It had 50,000 miles, 50,500 miles, and it's done 3,500 miles since June. So that's one of the reasons I'm checking the oil level, because this particular engine, this is a petrol one, and this engine in this Mini does burn oil, and therefore it's a good idea to check your oil regularly, your oil level in the Mini. So we're going to start with topping up some screen wash fluid, or at least I'm going to show you where that fluid goes, because I already topped it up. So if you get your bonnet open in your Mini Countryman, then you're gonna have this layout. And in this layout, if you look to the right here, this is where the screen wash fluid goes. Now I recommend putting the proper fluid in here, screen wash fluid, not here. Here is where the coolant goes. So put the proper screen wash fluid. Mine is I've already filled it up. It's full, ready. I'm gonna say ready for winter, but really you have to regularly check and top it up. It depends how much you drive, it depends where you drive, and all of that. But the fluid I normally use, so I normally buy the concentrated one, which is recommended really, because the other one it's ready mixed, and although it's also okay, because if you already have it mixed, then you can just pour it in there and don't have to be worrying about mixing it yourself. So I just want to show you the bottle. That's one I'm using, rated to -20 degrees. So concentrated, but in this bottle I already mixed it, so that's why it looks a little bit lighter in color. I prepare loads of these, so they're ready for all the cars I have to service. So that's the proper fluid there. Don't go and just put water. If you fill this tank with just water, in winter it will freeze. That water will freeze, and then you won't have the water coming out the jets. And another thing is, if it's only water in there, it freezes, and it can expand and crack your tank. And the tank is just made of plastic, similar to this. So do buy the proper fluid. The next check we're going to do is the coolant. And the coolant, as I mentioned, is in this tank here. And if I get a light, I'll be able to show you a little bit better. Now we're going to open this. This car is cold. It's been sitting overnight. It's nice and cold, so I don't have a problem opening this. If your car was hot, you have to be careful opening this. I would recommend letting it cool down and then opening this cap, because if the car is hot, the coolant gets extremely hot and you can burn yourself pretty badly. So I have a light, and if I just position the light there, you can see the coolant from the side here. You can see it's green in color, and also there are two marks here. This little arrow here that you can't see, but you'll be able to see it if you have a mini Countryman. This arrow here points to the minimum, and this other arrow just up here, I don't know if I can. Right. So the arrow here points to the max, which is around this line here. And this is the minimum here. So by shining a light, you can see where the level of your coolant is. If you found the level at the minimum, perhaps you want to top up a little bit. If you found a level below the minimum, really down here, then you may want to check a little bit further. You may have a coolant leak somewhere. It could be a minor leak that is just beginning to happen. I had a Mini the other day which had a leak. It was a small leak from the thermostat housing. So the coolant was going down very gradually, but during the investigation you could see there was a leak. And the way to really spot a leak is, because in this case this is green, you will be able to see green marks around the leak that happens. Moving on, we're going to check the percentage of anions that this coolant may have. And by that I mean at what temperature would this coolant freeze. So I'm just going to use this gadget here, made by Worth. Works really well, it's really good. You just suck some fluid, let it settle down a few seconds, and if I just lean it on that, you can see the arrow there, the red arrow is pointing at around minus 38, 37 degrees. So that means for this liquid, this coolant to freeze, it will have to be around minus 37 degrees. So that's good rating. Another thing about coolant is, if you live in a very cold country, obviously in the North Pole, you would need this to be above minus 40. It will have to be minus 50, minus 60. I'm not sure. But if you live in a very hot country, you still want to have antifreeze in there. And that's because antifreeze has minerals and other stuff that protect the engine from corrosion. So this is good. I'm happy with that. Minus 37. For the UK, it is reasonable, because normally we might reach minus 10, but we don't really go below that. If you like to get one of these, let me know. I might be able to get you one. Just leave me a comment and maybe your contact, but I could get them. I think they're around £25, but it'll have to be plus postage or something like that. There are many other types that you can buy from Amazon as well, by the way. So I'll put an Amazon link as well, to other type of those that measure percentage of antifreeze. So close the cap. I'm happy with this. I'm happy with the level. I'm happy with the percentage of antifreeze. It's not gonna freeze in winter, which is the other tip I was gonna give you. If you fill this just with water, and you fill your engine with water, again, it will freeze in winter. It can damage your engine, and that would be just catastrophic. So make sure you use the correct coolant, and same for the screen wash fluid. Now we are going to move on to checking the oil level. So all these are really basic checks that you should regularly carry out, but today we're doing it especially as we're going into winter, and we want to make sure we at least have some of the levels at a correct level. Oil goes in here, dipstick is right here. So make sure before you check the oil level, make sure the car is better if it's cold and on a flat level surface like mine is, and then we can have a measure of the oil level. Right. So I'm just going to show you quickly the manual, what the manual says about the oil level. And like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this car was serviced in June, and it's done about 3,500 miles, and in that period of time it could have burned some oil. This particular engine really likes to eat oil away, and it's quite important to check it regularly. So we'll see what the level is after 3,500 miles that has been driven. The dipstick is going to look something like this. It shows you here the minimum and the maximum. Well, in this diagram it shows you where it is, which is the one there, the yellow stick there, and it just shows you the oil filler cap there if you need to add some engine oil. But the important part here is, it says here the oil level between the two marks on the dipstick is approximately 1 liter. So between the minimum and the maximum, about 1 liter. If it's a diesel engine, it's approximately 1.2 liters. So now we know what we're expecting and how much more or less we can top up if we need to top up. And also here it will tell you the oil type that you can use. So for petrol engines, you can use ACEA, A3 or B4. If it's for diesel engines, ACEA, C3. Those are the recommendations. Also, or if you use the BMW, you have a long life 01, long life 01FE, long life 04, diesel long life 04. So those are the recommendations there. And now we can physically see it. So, as I said, to have an accurate reading, make sure your car is in a flat surface, and also make sure it's cold, preferably cold. If you've driven it, at least let it sit there for about 20 minutes and then check it. Right, let's pull the dipstick. First thing we're gonna do is clean the dipstick. Give it a nice wipe. And I can see on my paper the oil is fairly clean. It's not really dirty. But that's obviously because I changed this only a few months ago. Now, if you look at the dipstick, as shown in the manual, you have the minimum area in this end and the max in this end. So let's see where we're at. Now that's nice and clean. I'm gonna put it in there and see where our oil is. Now, it might be difficult to see, but maybe you can see the shine area, the shining there. If I can get the camera to focus. My oil is right at the minimum, right here. You can see the shine from there to there, and this is dry. Well, maybe you can't see it, but I can. So that means this car has burned about 1 liter in 3,500 miles. So if we just want to make sure, you can clean this again. It's nice and dry. Put it back in there. And we'll do one more check. And yep, you can see, well, you can't really quite see, but my oil is the minimum there. And so what I need to do now is top up about 1 liter. So I'm gonna top up around 1 liter. Actually, I have 800 mils that I'm going to top up. And I'm using Mobile Super 5W30 here. Now we want that oil to settle down a little bit, but if we do a quick check, oil usually drains down fairly quickly, but obviously not the whole of it. If we do a quick check, we may notice this might start going up a little bit. And again, but you can see, I think my oil was even less than that, because now I can see more proper shining area here. But I don't know, this mini engine, this is a mini Countryman, but the Cooper and all of them, they use the same engine, and they really burn oil. In fact, I was reading the manual on a Mercedes GLA the other day, checking the oil level as well, and it said it burns around 0.8 of a liter every 1,000 miles, which sounds a little bit crazy to me. So I was reading it wrong. Right, let's have a look. Okay, so you can see that it's now starting to go up a little bit. That means my oil was quite low. Oops, sorry. It's up to there now. That means my oil was quite low, very low. See the shiny, a little bit of shining here. Let's give this a good clean. Okay, I gave that a good clean, so it looks very dry. And now we can check again. There. Now you can see much better. You can see where the oil is. If I can stop shaking. This side is not, it shows a little bit, but that's just like that's not the actual level. The level is there. And that means I need at least another 500 mils here. At least need another 500 mils. No, even maybe a little bit more, 600 or 700. But you can see in 3,500 miles, the car has probably burned. So this car usually takes about 4.2 liters of oil, and I'm going to be topping up around 1.6, 1.7. So that's how much is burnt in 3,500 miles. So what I was reading about this particular engine is that the piston rings are a little bit weak on this engine and allow the oil to go into the cylinders and burn. The other issue with this is the valve stem seals, which can get hard and also allow for oil to burn. Well, as you saw, the manual states that between the min and the max is about a liter. So I would gradually top that up so you don't overfill it either. Right, that's nice and clean. I can see that there's a natural shine to this area. So I think that's what was confusing me a little bit before. That means my oil was even below that. You can see this area here and this area here looks a little bit shinier naturally. A little bit misleading there, but anyway, let's check the oil now. And there we are. That's much better. Oil is up to here. We are getting there. Maybe another 100 mil or 200 mils will do the job. Right, I have 200 here, 200 mils. I don't overfill it. Well, if I overfill it, it'll be like by a millimeter or two. Right. So now I lost my dipstick. I found my dipstick. Kind of feel like a dipstick right now. Okay, clean the area again. Do a rough check. And there we are. That's right up here. And I'm actually happy with that level. I won't be putting any more because what will happen is the oil that we put is still kind of draining down. I haven't really waited much time. So I believe that once it's all drained down, that will go up to the max. But I am happy to be somewhere up this end anyway. If you're at this end, you definitely want to at least bring your oil up to the half or a little bit more. So that is done. Happy days. That's gonna keep your Mini safe and sound. So, just to recap, we checked the level, we topped it up, car is done about 3,500 miles since its last service, and it's burnt about 1.8 liters of oil. So that's quite substantial. And all the Minis, any Mini I've come across, is done is it burns oil quite a lot. Apart from that, it's a fairly reliable engine. I haven't really had other issues with them. But having said that, most of the ones I work with are low mileage. This is done 53,000 miles or so. The other issues I've had with this particular Mini, or perhaps not issues as such, it's just the tensioner belt and maybe water pump that needed changing, and or the thermostat housing that they can leak. And we checked our coolant and we checked the screen wash fluid, and all is good now. From here I want to move on to just quickly show you how you can check your tire pressures, and specifically what the car recommend, well, what's written on the car, so you can do it properly. Now if you open the driver's side door here in the UK and you look at this sticker here, if I can get this light there, okay. If you look at this sticker, it shows you if you are carrying certain amount of passengers, about 3 passengers there, about 5 passengers here. So with 5 passengers, your car is going to be heavier. And the reason you have 2 parts to this, so you have 3 people there and then 3 people here, 5 people here, and then 5 people here. So you need to find the correct chart to look at. And to find the correct chart, you need to find the tire size. And if you look at these readings here, the tire sizes there are all different. It says 205, 55, R17 on these ones. This one says 195, 60, R16, or 225, 40, R19. So before you start adding the pressures, you go to your tire physically. Go to the tire, check the size. This one here is a 205 60 R16. And it depends what car you're checking, but some cars have the rear tires are thicker than the front. So anyway, 205 60 R16. We come back to the chart and we look for 205 60 R16, and that particular size tire, it's on this chart here, it's right there. So that means I can look at this area here rather than this one. And if I'm carrying three people or myself in the car, it recommends 2.2 bar in the front and 2.2 bar in the back, or 2.2 bar is around 32 psi, 32 for the front, 32 for the back. If you were carrying 5 people and some luggage, it recommends you to put 2.4 bar front and back, or 35 psi. So when you go to the petrol station and you have a similar gauge to this, in there is going to show you, it says on one side it says bars and the other side says pound per square inch, but that is psi. So when you put the air, you want to look, let's see if I can show you. It might be a little bit tricky, but we can see, try and check how much this is at. So this is at around 28 psi or 1.9 bar. So the numbers on the right where it says 2 and it does the bar side, and the ones on the left are the psi. So I need to top this up. I need to top it up to 32. And that's what I'm going to do next. But at the minute, I just wanted to show you how you can check that. Whereas, but I'm actually checking the thread as well. Again, if you want a tip on that, you can buy one of these, a little gauge, and with that gauge, if you go to your tire and clean it a little bit, if you put the gauge there, it will give you the reading of how much thread you have. And this one is about 2.5. So this tire is quite low now. And if you inspect your tires, I mean, it's a good idea to inspect your tires as well. Going into winter, make sure you haven't got any cracks. Make sure they're not worn on the edges, or make sure they don't have any bulges. Sometimes they have literally like balloons sticking on the side. And those are dangerous tires because they can explode in the motorway. But yes, with a gauge like this, you can check you have different grooves here, so you can check the different grooves. In some places, it may be a little bit more thread, but in the middle here, it's about 2.5, and it's very near the legal. So the legal, I think, as far as I remember, is 1.6. So I think that tire is gonna have to be replaced. And that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna check all my tires, I'm gonna check the pressures. We've done the essentials here. And that's what I'm doing today in this mini Countryman. And the next time I join, or you guys join me in a live feed, it will be, I'm gonna be checking the Mercedes GLC, I think it's a GLA actually, because I know it needs some oil. So I'm gonna take the opportunity to show you guys how you can check it. And having said that, my hair is a mess, but thank you for joining me. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, or even become a member. I've got loads of videos on YouTube on how to do many different repairs in minis, Mercedes, BMW, any make that I come across. I try to do at least a video, but I have plenty of videos, so you may find your car in one of my videos. So don't forget to give me a like if it helps you. Otherwise, I'm going to join you guys in another live feed in the next few days, hopefully. And in any case, thank you for joining me. Don't really want to keep talking. My mouth is getting dry and I'm boring myself. So we'll see you next time.